Hey, what's up, you beautiful coaches? Joel here, and in today's video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how I took my very first coaching business from zero to over six figures in my first year as a coach, from a standing start with no ads, no funnels, no cold outreach, or even a niche, because my niche found me. Now, more on that in a bit. And if you're new to me, please don't put me under the umbrella of every other business coach that just coaches coaches and has never coached real people, because the story and experience that I'm about to share is with coaching real people, not just coaches. And dare I say it, traditionally stubborn men that are traditionally hard to sell to. Now, in this training, I'm not going to make any bold claims or promises. I'm just going to share exactly what I did step by step, the mistakes I made, and what I would have done differently. And it's my intention that you're going to get a ton of insights, some actions, really see that building profitable and thriving coaching business is simpler than it's made out to be. There are just three core components that you need to master. Now, I'll share all of that shortly. Then at the end of this video, I'm going to share a really simple invitation. If you want to see what it might look like to partner together and implement some of these strategies and methodologies in your business. Now, if you're not ready for that, that's also totally cool. I'm not going to hold anything back in this. I'm going to pull back the curtains and really show you what worked for me, what's working for my clients, and let's get started. But first, let's get clear on who this is for and not for. So if you're a coach that's only in it for money, then click away. I only work with coaches that really feel called to this work. Now, sure, they want to create an abundant life, but that's not the sole reason for being a coach. In fact, they feel connected to something bigger than them. They feel called to this work and they can't imagine themselves doing anything else. That's certainly how I feel, and that's who I work with. This also isn't for the coach who's done that £7 spiritual coaching qualification and now calls himself a spiritual coach. Yes, those courses do exist. Also, please click away. I don't work with cowboys. You have to be living the transformation of coaching. You have to be a real deal. Now, this doesn't mean you need to be the finished article. We never are. But there are a lot of fake gurus and coaches out there who are giving what they're teaching, not living. So it's really, really important that you're living the transformation of coaching. So who is this for? So if you're a heart-led coach who loves coaching, who feels called to coaching, you're here to make a massive impact. And you've proven you're a good coach. You've created clients, you've got results for those clients, you've got testimonials that agree that you're a good coach, but perhaps everything feels a little haphazard. You're making between 1 to 3K per month, but it's, very up and down. And if you're honest with yourself, you don't really know what you're doing. It all feels a little like guesswork. Perhaps you spend lots of time fiddling around with your website, pretending like you're being productive, but really you're giving into fear and fancy dress. Perhaps you're spending loads of time creating your perfect logo or the perfect Instagram feed, but really you don't really know what the levers are that drive your business forward. And so far, everything's kind of been a little bit lucky, right? You want to get to the next stage and you really want to quit the guesswork. You want to go from being an amateur and turn pro. And you finally want to break free from that feast to famine cycle and build the systems, the strategies that are predictably going to grow your business to the 10, 20, 30K months. And so you can really feel the confidence that comes with that confidence that you will make it as a coach, and you can start living the life that you want on your terms, where you can say no to the affiliate work, no to the consultancy work, and really step fully into who you are meant to be, a coach, an expansive coach who is answering that call. So if that sounds like you, you're going to get a ton from this training. But if you are in that feast to famine cycle, I want to say I totally get it. I've been there, and really it's actually not your fault. Now, let me rewind a little and tell you a little bit about my high-level story into coaching, why I think that, and also how I got to these three keys to a six-figure coaching business. For most of my life, I was always seeking my thing. I didn't know what that thing was. I got lost searching for that thing. Initially I studied to be a mechanical engineer. That wasn't it. I tried to play professional rugby, 12 operations, stopped that short. And if I'm honest, I didn't work hard enough and I wasn't good enough. Anyway, I then went into property, seeking what I thought was my thing, money and partying. I got all that stuff and I was really good at all that stuff, but that wasn't it, because it left me more disconnected to my truth, my heart, my being. I then founded a food tech business that I raised £1 million for, poured 4.5 years of blood, sweat and tears into that business. That business was wiped out by COVID, literally in a matter of months, having just found product market fit. I'll be honest with you, it broke me, but it was actually the best thing that could have happened to me, because it forced my arm into coaching. Because prior to that, I trained as a coach to be a better manager for my team. And And in that, I realized coaching is my calling. This is the very thing that I was seeking, this fulfillment, this aliveness, this meaning that comes from coaching. And if you felt it, I know you know what I'm talking about. I come alive when I'm coaching. So when COVID wiped out my first business, I had a decision to go get a job or step into this calling as a coaching, which didn't really make sense. My wife was about to go on maternity. All my money was just wiped out by that prior business, but I couldn't ignore this calling. So I stepped into the world of coaching and I actually got a few early wins. I've got a few clients of 1,000, $1,500, and it really fueled some confidence, but it also fueled impatience. And I didn't really know what I was doing at the time. And I got sucked into a marketing agency and I built out this all singing, all dancing website and funnel. But I soon found out that this funnel and website would only work with a large amount of traffic. But I didn't have a big social media following. So I took out a credit card and a load of ads on my credit card. And I was just chasing that moment of profitability. I was chasing the 6 figures in 6 weeks that I was promised. But what it left me with was 30K in debt. And I had to pull the plug. And I'll be honest with you, I was broken. I have never felt so low, ashamed, and really confused. I was convinced that I was destined to be a failure at the time. I was ashamed about the position I got me and my family in, and I just really didn't know where to turn. That's when I spoke to my mentor at the time, and I just decided I'm not going to give up. Coaching was my calling. I have to step into this. And I decided I would do everything in my power to figure out how to sign and create high-fee clients consistently and really grow my coaching business so that I could provide for my family and me and live the life that I wanted. So I stopped trusting others more than myself and I simplified things and I focused on really expressing my truth and the transformation I've been through, enrolling people every single day, enrolling people in their own potential, but enrolling people into my way of thinking too. And finally, engineering systems that created serious value for my audience, amazing results for my clients, and a profitable business. And sure enough, it worked. I filled 6 group coaching programs with around 8 to 15 high-performing men. I created 5, 10, 15, even 20K one-to-one clients. And I built a community of 50 men where we ran retreats and events together. And I made that 6 figures in the next 12 months. And that allowed me and my family to move to this beautiful island in Madeira and really step into the life that we really wanted and dreamed of. I had a moment around 18 months ago where I looked back into the Facebook group that I was originally part of, that originally trained together. Now, there were 50 that qualified 3.5 years ago, but there were only about 3, 4, 5 of us that were still full-time coaches. Now, this broke me because all of the 50 that qualified 3.5 years ago all said coaching is their calling and they wanted to make coaching their full-time thing. And it just broke me that only 1/10 of us were still coaching, because I truly believe that coaching can transform the world and can change the world. It is that powerful. So what I did was I reverse engineered my success and I created an offer to help other coaches to see if I could. And sure enough, it did. Matt was one of my very first clients and he made his first 10K a month in the first 30 days. Prior to that, he was doing about 1 to 3K. Then there was Alex, who again made his first 10K a month after 60 days of working together. Again, he was doing 1 to 3 to 5K per month, but it was very sporadic. And then Erin, who made a 17K a month after 2 months of working together. Now, I could go on because after that, I basically had the insight that this is where I could have the greatest impact. And really, that's what I'm driven by, to create a ripple effect that can transform the world. So I set my goal, and it became my mission to help 100 coaches to their first 10K month, because I really believe it's that first 10K month that is your hardest. And once you get to that first 10K month, things start to change. You suddenly start to realize, I can do this. I can step into my calling as a coach. I can answer that call and I can make this my full-time thing. I can say no to the consultancy, the side hustle there and the affiliate work that's not filling my soul. And I can really step into my soul's call and my soul's work. But I also believe that actually building a coaching business is simpler and closer than you think. And it really comes down to the 3 steps that I'm about to share with you. So one of the biggest challenges I experienced at the start of my journey was overthinking. And I'm sure you can relate if you've been on this journey for a bit. And this overthinking was really fueled by a lack of confidence and a lack of clarity. And I found that the antidote to this was expression and action. Now, initially, I got caught in all the PDFs and researching for hours on end, trying to find my niche, and I ended up taking no action. That's when I realized there was another way, when I had no choice but to find that way. And that way was to express from your heart. Sure, express with strategy, but really express from your heart. And I realized there's 3 layers to this expression: heart, head, hands. Expressing at the heart level is all about knowing who I am at my core, and speaking from that place. And I found the more I stepped into this person, this version of me, and expressed from my core, my truth, the more magnetic I became. Now, of course, I was living the transformation of coaching. 7 years ago, I was overweight, lazy, ill-disciplined, inconsistent. But I went through a transformation where I got in the best shape of my life. I was super happy. I'd mastered my mind. I was in great shape. I was super healthy and had a beautiful family. So I'd lived the transformation of coaching. When I stepped into that and shed from that place, I became magnetic, and I created an identity that others wanted to step into. And really, that was the biggest driver in my expression and creating this magnetism about me. And the second level of expression is the head. Now, this is about strategy and learning what your audience wants. There's a great quote by Dan Kennedy. He says, enter every conversation that's going on in your client's head. That's what I did also. I got obsessed about what my audience wanted, what they were coming to me for. And I got obsessed with collecting data, onboarding forms, Instagram stories, Instagram polls. I was constantly speaking to my audience and constantly taking what they said and testing it back at them, using my story to draw them in, but also a bit of strategy to really empathize and speak at their level. The third level of expression is the hands. This is about the skills that I developed. Now, I got lost many times, and I still do get lost, but I got lost in the tactics and the frameworks and the copywriting frameworks and what have you. What I realized, the number one skill that you need to develop in this level of expression is cultivating creative force. The way I do that is with breath work, through exercise and movement. And every time I trust in that, I'm always met with clarity and creativity. And when I create from that place, I always get to a better expression of myself and a more magnetic. So those are the three levels of expression that when I led into, I became more magnetic. People started reaching out to me, and I created this version that people wanted to step into. Now, the second biggest challenge that I faced in the earlier stages was blockage around sales, money, and charging my worth. And really, it was that last one that impacted me the most. But once I understood what I'm about to share with you, I went from charging 1 to 1.5K to 5, 10, 15, even 20K for one-to-one clients. And I did it in a way that felt heartfelt, congruent, and really there's no ickiness or no ill feeling about it. And really that was the art of enrollment. And that's the second key component here. Now, there are 3 things that I enrolled myself in which led to clients. And the first thing that I needed to enroll myself in was actually me. 3.5 years ago, when my business was wiped out by COVID, I was really low confidence. I kind of felt like a failure. And I remember having a conversation with my mentor and coach shortly after this failure with this funnel and website. I remember sharing with him that, like, what have I got to offer? What have I got to add? And my mentor and coach stopped me and said, would your version of you 7 years ago hire your current self? And I was like, 100%. He's like, why? I said, well, I know this, and this, and this, this, and this, and this. And he's like, interesting. The penny dropped. And at that moment, I started to believe in myself. And he gave me an exercise to go and write down everything I learned from building that prior business and all the transformations I've been through. And in that process, even just saying that out loud, my whole body's coming alive. In that process, I started to feel like an unbelievable amount of self-belief, and I enrolled myself into me. I also was enrolled into coaching, into high fee coaching, because working with my mentor and coach at the time was a lot of money. Because of the transformation I experienced with him, I was fully enrolled in high fee coaching, in coaching and myself. So that's the first enrollment, or the first thing I needed to enroll myself in. The second thing I needed to enroll myself in was my offer. And I didn't love my offer at the time, so I spent some time crafting an offer and creating a unique framework for success, which was my unique methodology. Once I enrolled myself into myself and my offer, then actually client creation became pretty easy. It just came a matter of holding space, awakening the potential of the person opposite me, and then really sharing what it looked like to work with me. Because when you love something, you have conviction, and sales is a transfer of conviction. So the 3 things you need to enroll yourself in is yourself, into you, into your coaching, into high fee coaching. 2, your offer and your unique framework for success. And then 3, awakening your prospects' inner potential, awakening possibility in them. And then it's just a matter of sharing what it looks like to work with you. if you do those 3 enrollments. Now, since mastering these 3 levels of enrollment, I've been able to make 20, 30K months consistently in a way that feels aligned, easeful, and I have the most perfect fit clients. And really, that is the power of enrollment. Now, the third biggest challenge that I faced was lack of consistency as a result of no strategy and no systems. Because of that, I really jumped from thing to thing. So what I did in that moment where I couldn't fail was engineer systems. And being a mechanical engineer, that is my zone of genius, if you will. And there are 3 systems that I engineered that allow me to get to that 10, 20, and 30K month. First system that I engineered was a rapid testing framework. Now, this came from my learning when building my tech business, because tech businesses run everything on 2-week sprints, where they set a hypothesis at the start, they have one focus for 2 weeks, and they review at the end of the 2 weeks, did it pass, did it fail? If it passed, okay, we ring it out, we double down. If it failed, it's like, cool, we learned this, on to the next. So that's essentially what I did. I took my unique framework for success and I used that framework from which to test on. Now let me walk you through. So the unique framework for success I created was essentially 3 pillars, and pillar 1, pillar 2, and each of these pillars essentially had 3 steps. So you had 9 steps, and those 9 steps led to a transformation. Now my offer was called 63 days to personal power. So the transformation was going from no personal power to having personal power. Now it was a bit better than that, but you get my picture. But how I use this for this rapid testing framework was that there are 9 different steps here, but I saw these as 9 different topics. So what I did was for 2 weeks, I would focus on one topic at a time. And there was one topic, it was around morning routines, that 1 week went viral. I had like 70, 80,000 views, which at the time was a lot for me on LinkedIn. And I created lots of clients from it, lots of interest, lots of new followers. And it made me think, okay, there's something in this. So what I did was I doubled down on that and I just started creating content just on morning routines and my 5 a.m. Routine. And the more I did that, the more clients I created and the larger my audience got. So what I then did was I took this and I created a offer called the 5 a.m. Club, which went ahead. It was almost like my Trojan horse, if you will. And I then went and created hundreds of clients for this, which became the lead magnet for my larger offer, which was the 63 days to personal power. Now, I never would have got here had I sat and researched for hours and went through lots of PDFs. I only got there because I was in this experimental phase where I tested things and failed and tested things and failed, but I listened and observed. And it was this that really allowed me to get to that 5 a.m. Club, which became my Trojan horse and the thing that I really became known for. Once I got there, things exponentially grew in my business. So that's the first system that I engineered. The second was a client creation engine. Now there are 4 stages that I created within this client creation engine. Magnetize, nurture, onboard, and retain. The magnetize is really the top of funnel. This is the attraction and building our audience. And I essentially reverse engineered what was working. And I created a framework called the 5 C's. And there are 5 different types of content that I created: connection, coaching, credibility, conversion, and challenge their belief. And these are some example bits of content that I would lead with. And what this did was speak to different people at different stages of their awareness and of their journey. The second part was the nurture. This is where I used a high value asset like the 5 a.m. Club to capture people's information to then nurture with either events or workshops or masterclasses or freebies or free training, but really things I was already doing for my clients. So I had to just create it once and use it multiple times. Now, the third part is onboarding. Now, I created some automations and some nurturing assets that really led to my prospects coming to the call with me primed and ready to hot. So this is the power of really mastering this phase. And the 4th stage to my client creation engine was retention. This is where I created the Netflix model and I created a product pyramid ecosystem. So let me walk you through that really quickly. So I started with one-to-one coaching and I really mastered creating consistent one-to-one clients. And I got to a point where I was full with my one-to-one coaching And at that point, I then added on a second level, which was online training plus community. This became a value add to my one-to-one clients, but a second offer. So I now had two offers, my one-to-one, my online training, and community. I then took parts of the online training and some of the workshops from the community and sold them as low-ticket offers or one-time offers. So the benefit of this is that you only need to create things once, but you can sell twice. And then this final phase was just play. It was like, what do I want to create? Is it this workshop? Is it this intensive? And it was really just play. So that was the fourth layer to the client creation engine, retention. And the third system that I engineered was my client delivery system. And really, this was actually the most important and the reason why my business did so well, because I got amazing results for my clients and always over-delivered for, and just got amazing testimonials, amazing case studies, which fed the whole system. Now, as I said before, I'm not trying to make any claims or bold promises. I'm just showing you what I did, what worked for me, and also what worked for my clients. Now, I could bore you with all of my client results and testimonials, but what I'll do instead is put a link to this below so you can check it out yourself. And if you still need convincing, I can send you some more training, some more resources. But if you are watching this and you are intrigued by me and my model, then what I would do is I would love to invite you to send me a message on either Instagram or LinkedIn, the links are below, with the word collective. After that, we'll brainstorm essentially what it might look like, how I can support you, and how we can get you to the 10, 20, 30K month in the next 12 months. Now, if you're already in conversations with me and you've just watched this, message me and let me know you've just finished this and we'll go from there. Either way, there's just no pressure from me. I'm not in the world of convincing, nor do I attract coaches that are in that desperation stage. I attract coaches that want to play big and they want to step into the person they know they're capable of being. So if you're not ready to reach out, that's totally cool. Follow along on my journey on either Instagram, LinkedIn, or here on YouTube. I would love to continue helping in any way. And I hope that this video has been helpful. Below, there'll be various links to different training. But if you want to quit the guesswork and want to work with someone who can get you there further and faster, then I'd love to invite you to send that message with the word collective. We'll map out a plan together and see how we can get you to where you want to get to. The worst case scenario, you build a plan. The best case scenario is that we work together and you get there far quicker than if you've done it on your own. So if that's you, send me that DM. For everyone else, I really look forward to seeing you again. There's going to be loads more value coming up and I'm super excited to speak to you or meet you whenever that is. Sending you lots of love and have a beautiful day.